All right, what's up, y'all? I'm Caitlin Leggett, your favorite digital media journalist, former athlete, girly, and we're back with another episode of the She Don't Miss podcast. Okay, yeah, like I said last time, the whole premise of this podcast is to essentially just talk to people who, specifically female athletes, former athletes, and that have played at different levels, different sports, and just have different experiences. Today we're tapping in with my girl Aminiata Johnson. Aminiata played basketball. We actually used to hoop together eons ago, but she hooped for Howard University, Fayetteville State University, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe she hooped semi-pro for the Raleigh Storm. A women's semi-pro basketball team in Raleigh, North Carolina. So yeah, we finna tap in with my girl. So talk to me a little bit about how you started playing basketball in general. For y'all who don't know, I'm in 6'3", so it's really no question why she started hooping. But how did you get started?
Um, so when I was growing up, my dad and cousins and uncle, my dad is from the south side of Durham. So during the summer, like every Sunday, all the men used to go to Hillside Park and it would be flooded and they would just play basketball. And so all the kids, we would be out there just playing. And I was mostly like the only girl. So I used to be out there with my brother and my cousins and like the boys out there playing with them. And that's how I started from there. And then my mom put us in rec sports all the time. And yeah,
TTT. Okay, so like you mentioned, you were always the tallest.
yes, always.
So what was that like for you, being a taller girl?
Mhm. I hated it. Like when I was little, girl, I hated it. Like my mom, I used to cry all the time because I couldn't find pants that were long enough. And she used to feel so bad. I remember she would spend so much money to like take me to these fancy stores to get tall jeans and pants. So it was hard like growing up. But then once I got to high school and I kind of started playing AAU, I started meeting more girls that were my height. So it got easier. Like I wasn't always just towering over everybody. But I really didn't really start getting comfortable with it until probably like in my 20s.
I was gonna say it was like a whole wave of, like once Meg the Stallion came on the scene, everybody learned what a stallion was, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we want D1 babies. These 5'5" girls not gonna give us these D1 babies."
Yeah. But
So
when
what was
I was
that experience like for you too? Like that kind of hard switch of like, dang, now everybody loves me because I'm tall.
it was crazy. Like I just felt like I never felt like that when I was growing up. And then it was like all of a sudden everybody's like, I love tall women. And I was just like, okay, I don't forget what y'all used to be saying. But I mean, I love it now. I love that tall girls are getting love and tall little girls, like my little sister's tall and she doesn't feel that way the way I felt growing up at all. Like she loves it. So I'm happy that it happened.
Okay, and then like just as far as hooping goes, and then like even playing volleyball, but just like being an athlete in school, what was
Mhm.
the moment for you where you were like, like actually like I could really do this, like I'm straight, like I could kind of keep going with this past school, that type of thing.
Mhm. Um, I think once I started playing AAU in college, I had a really good coach and he really like pushed for us to play in college. And I mean, I didn't really know anything about it. Like I'm the first person in my family really, or first girl to like go and play collegiate sports. So I think it was just kind of like a given. Like it was just like, you're gonna do this. And then as like the interest and stuff started coming, I was like, okay, I can, I could do it.
And so what was your college experience like, being at Howard, being in DC, that type of thing, and then also, coming back to North Carolina and being at Fayetteville State?
Yeah. So Howard was my dream school. Like I wanted to go there since I was young. So I was really, really, really happy. Like when I got a scholarship there, I knew that that's where I was going to commit. That's where I was going to go. But it was a big culture shock when I got there, like night and day from Durham. So
Yeah.
it was really hard for me to adjust when I got there. And my team was great. I loved my team, my teammates. I loved my coach there, but I could not adjust to DC. Like it was hard. So my experience, it wasn't bad. Like I said, I love my teammates and everything, but like socially in every other way, I couldn't do it. It was too much.
Okay, so for those who don't know, right, I lived in DC, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But how would you kind of describe that for somebody? And like, especially coming from, right, for those who don't know, we went to Voyager Academy High.
Mhm.
It's the little white school in the middle of Black Durham, but it was like we had our own little group, and then it was kind of like you had your friends outside of school. So it was never like I feel like we completely missed out on those things, but it definitely is completely different from DC, which is like the Mecca of everything. And
Yeah.
it's super, super fast, that type of thing. But how would you describe it?
Yes, very fast. Like, and Howard is in the middle of DC. It's not like when you think of a school on a campus, it's not like that. It's just in the middle of DC, so it's amongst everything. It's fast. Yeah, it's fast. It's crazy. It's just, it's a cool. I don't even know how to describe it. Like me being 18, being there, I was just like, whoa. And then a lot of the people that I think go to Howard are, I mean, there's people from everywhere, but I felt like a lot of them were from up north. And so they're very different, like socially, than we are too. So that was an adjustment, um, but yeah, DC is a lot. I love visiting now. Like I can go there to visit and have fun, but living there, no, I couldn't do it. I used to get lost on the metro, girl. Like I was like, no.
Listen, I lived there 2 years and I still drove everywhere. That
Yeah.
first year, I was close enough to my job where my job was literally on the red line. It was 3 metro stops away. I could do that. Anything outside of that, mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm
It
gonna
was
drive. Don't even worry about it.
yeah, I went to Howard summer school and I realized very quickly I'm like I cannot do this, like I need my car. But freshmen weren't allowed to have their cars. So I kind of like snuck it. My dad told me I probably had it for a month. He said bring it back. I probably got like 4 or 5 parking tickets. Yeah, so he was like you got to bring
Oh, DC, they will hit you with them tickets.
yeah, so that didn't last very long. So yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, between parking tickets, the little red light cameras,
Yes.
speed cameras. I will never forget the first time I saw a flash off a camera. I said, what is that? But we don't have that in North Carolina.
They'll get you. It's crazy.
Okay. So would you say that being in DC and being at a HBCU and then also going to Fayetteville State, would you say that those experiences were comparable? I know you were in your like I believe you were in your grad year at Fayetteville State.
No, so I only did 1 year at Howard.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, then I went to Fayetteville.
Oh my girl.
I,
Okay.
yeah, I spent more time in Fayetteville, but um, I love HBCUs. Like, even though, like I said, I wasn't very into the social scene, it's like nothing like it. Like, just the crowds at the games, all of that. It was very similar. I will say, though, Fayetteville State support for like women's basketball, I think sports, period, was to me, a lot higher than Howard's at that time. I think Howard it's gotten a lot better. But yeah, it was, I mean, it's similar. Also, Fayetteville is Division 2, so it was a little different. That made a difference too for me. It was like a lot more manageable. Um, but yeah, it's pretty similar, just the different levels was the biggest difference.
And I know you mentioned like you really had a close bond with your teammates. Was it the same way at Fayetteville State? Like, I guess what was that? Being surrounded by your teammates almost 24/7, that being who you go eat with, who you hoop with, and then who you go back to the dorms with, that type of thing. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I love my Fayetteville State teammates. Like, I'm still cool with pretty much all of them to this day. 3 of them are like my closest friends. So I really love them. When I first got to Fayetteville, my roommate was my teammate. We had an apartment together, and she actually had transferred from Central. So we were kind of on the same experience. And yeah, I loved it. I never had any issues with them. We were we were all close. So yeah.
And then what was it like for you just being a female athlete, just in as far as like, I don't know, like sometimes, especially when you're a female athlete on campus, I feel like we definitely get a certain type of treatment, just as far as, like obviously we have things like where we're eating at and, how we're always with our teams. But also sometimes I think when you look in like in comparison to what the men's teams get resources wise, sometimes I
Mhm.
feel like y'all not even winning for y'all to be getting like, oh, okay. Yeah, what was that like for you?
I feel like, honestly, I think maybe at Howard, the men got more, but I feel like at Fayetteville, I didn't really feel that like large disconnect, honestly, because we were so good. Like the girls were so good, and I think that they had been good, like even prior to me getting there. So I think that they were pretty much on the same level. I didn't really notice any type of like extreme differences.
Okay, and then so graduating, right? Coming out of being a full-time basically athlete, right? Part-time student. But
Yeah.
you said you were an accountant major?
Yeah, well, my undergrad was in interdisciplinary studies, but my master's is in finance.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what was that adjustment like for you in terms of like coming out of, being an athlete and then going into just the real world?
Yeah, so to be honest, I worked throughout college. So I used to literally like go to class. I would um, go to work, and then I would go to practice. Sometimes I had to leave practice early or leave work early or whatever to go to practice or work. But so like for me, it wasn't a big adjustment. I was used to working, but the biggest adjustment was just like not playing anymore, like on a consistent basis, just not having that like structure. I think getting accustomed to that was difficult. Yeah.
And so how did you kind of work through that? Like what were some things that you did? I guess like what did life look like for you without basketball?
So my kind of career, it was like interrupted by COVID. So it was just, I moved around a lot. Like once COVID happened, I literally like packed up, moved to Houston, and I was there for like 2 months and I hated it. And then, so I left and I went to Atlanta. I was just doing whatever. Like I left, I went to Atlanta and I stayed there for a year. And so Atlanta was pretty open during that time, like during COVID. So I used to go to the gym and just like play pickup and, just, yeah, I was still in school. So I was just working in school. I would play when I could. But yeah, it was different. It was weird. But I feel like it was like what had to happen because of COVID. So there was no basketball.
And then, okay, you bounced around and then you made your way back to the Carolinas.
Yes.
What brought you back? What brought you home?
Mhm. So I actually had another year. So I came back to go play at Pembroke. Yeah. So I was there for up until like November. And then that was a hard adjustment for me because I had just spent like 2 years of my life working, living on my own, just like living a normal life. And then I really felt like I wanted to do my last year, but I was back like in the college scene, living on campus, just not really living the same life that I was for the last 2 years. So yeah, and I was getting opportunities to like to work and I was just like, yeah, I think I gotta let the basketball go. Like it's time for me to be an adult in the real world and just stick to that.
Okay, but then you still found your way back to basketball.
Yes.
So what happened? Where was that?
Yeah. Well, the owner of that team now, actually, her name is L'Oreal. She actually was an alumni of Fayetteville State. She won a ring there. So she won in 2010, and they hadn't won a ring again until 2020 when I was there. And I used to nanny her sons. So yeah, so she didn't own the team at the time, but she was like finding players and stuff. So she asked me to play, and yeah, that's how that happened.
And then how long did you play with them? Like, what was that experience like? Because I think sometimes too, we we don't realize that there are opportunities to play outside of, like overseas or, being in the W.
Mhm.
What was that experience like for you?
It was fun. Like I had a good time. The girls were very, very talented. Like it was just filled with like all former college athletes. So they were very, very talented and it was fun. Again, it's different. It's hard when you haven't played in a long time or you're not in the same type of shape. But yeah, we had a good time and she also has a league, like a summer league, a women's league. It's called Life's a Gamble. And so like I would play in that sometimes and you know, I find my way sometimes. I don't play as much as I want to or as I should, but it's fun when I do get to play.
And then you mentioned kind of this is something that I definitely saw, right? So I went from obviously working out 2 and 3 times a day, where I'm
Mhm.
in the gym for a lift, where I'm going to practice, and then that type of thing, to like not, and my body changed. I'm like, hold on, these used to. Did you go through kind of like a, I don't know, like almost like a body dysmorphia? Because it's not like you necessarily look bad. You just don't look the way that you did when you was training every single day. So did you go through that? And if so, like, how did you kind of like deal with that?
Bad, like bad, like I'm still trying to just navigate, and I also just feel like also we're grown now, so your body, you getting shapely and stuff. But yeah, I went through it bad, like really bad. Even when I was in shape and I was skinny and slim, I still was like thinking that I needed to lose more weight. So now that I'm like, you know, yeah, I go through it, but I I work out now, so I know that I'll never get the same type of body that I had back then just because I'm older and I think I just shaped out. But I definitely think that it is like my responsibility to still work out, still be healthy, and do all those things because you can't. I mean, we gonna sit around and cry and wish, oh my God, I wish I had the same body I did when I was in college. Like, no, you still got to work out. It's different though. Like, I feel like there's nothing it's hard to get that type of body back like you said when you're training 2 3 times a day, lifting, conditioning, running, playing, literally one off day a week, you're constantly doing something. So yeah, I know I've told myself like, okay, you're probably never going to necessarily look like that, but you could still be healthy and look good. So yeah, it was hard at first, but now I'm just like, okay, this is my body, like it is what.
Gotta, gotta be thankful for what I got because I could have nothing. Very T, very T. Okay, so on that same kind of like physical traits type tip, while you were playing, and then just, like being an athlete, did you like get braids, keep your hair done? Were you able to get nails, that type of thing? Like what was your things and how did you like, yeah.
Girl, let me tell you, I tried to get a the wig that you glue, like the lace,
A g-
the one that you glue. I don't know. It was my first time getting it. I got a lace wig. It was like the one that you glue, or it wasn't a wig. It was a frontal, and then I got,
Uh-huh.
and it looked so cute. I was so excited. Literally, I got it. I went to a football game. Next morning, we had conditioning done. I had to take it off, so I could never, I could never do it. I pretty much tried to keep braids in my head because I hated doing my hair. It was just a constant. It was just a struggle. Actually, I will tell you, when I was at Howard, we were not allowed to come to practice with our hair not done or in like tied up or nothing. Like you had to be
No
present.
bonnet? No bonnet to practice? Man, listen,
I was like, no.
listen.
I was not going for that. A bonnet, crazy. Like your hair, she did not want to see you looking crazy. So yeah, I had to keep my hair. I tried my best to keep it in braids, but then you're a broke college student, so what are you really gonna do?
Yeah.
But Yeah, when I was at Fayetteville, it was a little different. So sometimes I just wake up in my hair. But yeah, nails, I loved having my nails done. There were a couple times where I would have nails and they would break. I ripped my nails. So I had to stop doing that. So I just learned to just get gel on my nails. But yeah, it was hard being like a girl, like, and trying to play. There were a couple times where I would have rings and like I would be practicing with rings on. My finger would get jammed, so I couldn't take the ring off. So I had to wrap my fingers during games. So yeah, I was
Jewelry?
huh?
Y'all play in jewelry?
You're not supposed to, but like I would practice. Like I might have had like one ring that I never took off or something like that, and I would practice with it, and then it would jam. My finger would swell. So we might have a game tomorrow. I can't take it off, so I would have to, rap. But yeah, just being too cute, trying to.
I definitely get that. I always think I'm always surprised because I feel like when I watch like the Nebraskas and the Wisconsins like volleyball play, I'm like, she got a full stack of earrings and a chain on. I used to get red carded if I had some earrings in. Like, are you okay? I guess let me stay in my place.
Yes, I had a small little nose ring. It was gold, but it was really, really small, and I usually never got caught with it. But there were some refs, they'd be looking all in my face, and I would have to take it out, and then I had to re-pierce it because it was like fresh. So yeah, it was hard. If I wanted piercings or tattoos, you had to wait because yeah, so
That's that's real, but I think that coming to practice with your hair done, I think that's a very like niche Howard thing too. Because I had my roommate, she went to Howard, and she was very much like you had to come to like campus dressed,
mhm.
like suit, tie,
Yeah.
heels, and you had to trek across the campus. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
wake up with a bonnet on and go to the gym.
In DC heat in the summertime, imagine, girl. And the gym, like the walk from our dorm to the gym was like up a hill. It was crazy. Yeah. And you had to be like presentable all the time.
But I
So
also think that's a really good, that's kind of like a really good character building experience to have because it's like now you know how to get it together, quick, fast, in a hurry and kind of keep it together no matter what you have going on.
right, exactly. That's exactly what it was. I mean back then it was like you're young, you just trying to like there were a couple times my coach caught me in my like pajama shorts and on campus and I used to be so scared. She'd be like, I'll send you back to North Carolina. Like but like, back then you're like, dang, like you're young, but now that I'm older, it's like it's
I see
good.
what you're trying to
She,
do.
yeah, she just wanted us to be presentable and like presentable young ladies. So
I think that's interesting too, though, because it's like, we get policed on that a little bit. It's like we kind of have to keep it together, but like guys be in the gym, no shirt on, just, you know what I'm saying, just shorts and
what's crazy now that like I noticed now that like you said, like the NIL deals and the social media and stuff, they do what they want. Like the girls now, they're not as policed anymore, I feel like, as like how it was when we were in college. You had to be very careful about what you posted or how don't even like I don't even post nothing in a bikini or nothing like that. And now it's just like
we got
there's
Reese on the cover of, I'm saying, Playboy. And it's like I love the like hard switch, but it's also like I'm a little bitter because like I got in trouble for stuff like this.
a little salty. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, but it's crazy to see the switch. I think about that all the time. I'm like, dang, these girls, they be on TikTok dancing, just gyrating and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had the type of coach that like she had people that were like watching us on socials, like she had, you know what I'm saying, like burner accounts, pages, and she would come and tell us about, we thinking we being slick stuff in the close friends. She'd be like, "Oh, y'all was that, huh?"
Yes, yes, yes. It was. See, my coach at Fayetteville, she wasn't like that really, but at Howard, yeah, There was a couple times where somebody might have posted something thinking she didn't see or she wouldn't see, and you called into that office next morning, heart chest bumping like
Like that's a different type of scare.
Yeah, so eventually I just stopped posting. I just was like, I'm just gonna stay off and just
I'm telling you, it literally forms the way you deal with social media now.
yeah.
Now it's like you don't post nothing.
So it's different. It's way different now.
Understood, understood. Okay. So, right, Sophia,
So,
baby, little sis is literally a mini you. She's also finna be 6 foot,
yeah.
whatever. What is some of the, game that because I've been around when you was working her.
Hmm.
So you giving her the game, but what is some of the, maybe the things that you feel like the coaches aren't telling her, game
Hmm.
that you learned from playing like your specific experience that you're giving her?
Yeah, Sophia is much better than I was when I was her age, and she knows it. And they let her believe it, and she just is, But for me, and she's not like bad or conceited or nothing, but for me it's very important for her to be very humble and to like know that she has to work very, very, very hard to really, really, it's easy to be good in middle school and it's easy to be good, ninth grade, but once it gets serious and you're really playing against girls from Virginia, them big country girls, like it's not the same. It's not gonna be like how you do those middle school girls. And so for me, I just really try to get and kids are different nowadays. Like I used to be in the gym all day. I used to be running in the summer, all that. It's a little different now. So I don't play with her. Like you're
I
gonna
think
you're gonna run, yeah, like you're gonna lift, like if you want to be good. Because I didn't really. My mom, she just was like, "Oh, you're good," haha. Like she don't know, she didn't know. So and she still doesn't really know. She just knows that I did what I was supposed to do to get to where I was supposed to go, but she doesn't know like really. I feel like what it takes, just because she wasn't an athlete, like really. So yeah. So for Sophia, she lives in Texas now. So yeah, so I get her during the summer. So during the summer, that's what we do. We just, I make sure she trains, I make sure she gets what she needs. And yeah, just being good, like being smart, being good in school, not getting caught up in stuff. That's the best. But Sophia was around, like when I was playing AU, I used to drive to my tournament. She used to come. When I was at Fayetteville, she used to come, stay, be in the gym, just watching practice, running around. So she really knows basketball. Like she's been around it. And then, Enoch too. So
I was gonna
yeah.
say the whole that this they did these kids right, boy. Man, all athletic. Y'all all have the exact same face. Y'all all tall and like built.
Yeah.
Dang, and then here I am, 5'5". That's what I'm saying. I'm jealous. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So Kat,
But
I remember you jumped higher than me. So at 6'2".
these ain't the same needs anymore. But okay, with that, I guess it's just there anything else that you would add, kind of about your experience, whether that be like advice or, whatever.
Yeah. Um, I would say to really take advantage of your situation, no matter what it is, whether it's D1, D2, D3, like it is such a good opportunity and such a like amazing experience to be able to play college sports, and you'll never get nothing like that again. Like the crowds, just the teammates, the bonds, like you'll never experience that. I'd be thinking about when I get around my teammates, like we just reminisce. Like it was just so, even though I wasn't very social in college, but just playing with them, it was just so fun, and it created bonds that lasted forever. And just stay focused, don't be partying too hard, messing with, people and getting, all in relationships and stuff. Just focus on school, focus on having fun, learning yourself, and yeah.
And then, where can people, keep up with you if they want to follow you, socials, that type of thing?
Yes, my Instagram is aj.denise. That's really all that I have and use. I have TikTok, but I'm not posting nothing else. I oh no rhythm, nothing interesting to say. So yeah, but Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, do all the things. This has been another episode of the She Don't Miss podcast, okay? Clock it.
Cause baby girl, you shine. And we gon' do it big.